This is Leadership TV, and of course, you are watching Inside Nigeria. This is a program where we discuss the trending front page stories on our national dailies. My name is Cynthia Onado, and for today, of course, we'll be beginning with Leadership newspaper. On the front page, the major headline here says, despite 10.01 billion naira budget, Presidency, Army, 33 MDAs still owe electricity bills. Situation increasing debt stock, fiscal deficits. Electricity payment ranks as first line charge. Labour pickets NERC discos over tariff hike today. And also mega party ADC, LP, SDP, PRP, NNPP leaders meet Thursday. Federal government raising tax exemption threshold above 25 million naira turnover, says Oyedele. And also here on the headline, Hajj 2024 airlift of pilgrims begins Wednesday. Security agents rescue 31 student passengers in Kogi, Katsina. Streetlight contractors blame AEDC for dark FCT streets. Freight operations begin on Lagos-Kano rail line June. And still on leadership front newspaper, error bombing. Life returns to Chudunbiri. Tinubu won't take sides in Rivers crisis, says Presidency. And here on fact check, why did court bar pro-Wike Rivers lawmakers from assembly? And also on trending, varsity vigilante members arrested for rape. And let's take a look at our page 3 here. Rivers crisis says the new energy master plan. You might want to take a look at that and know what Rivers crisis says. And finally on our back page here, and here on fact check, why did court bar pro-Wike Rivers lawmakers from levy? You can pick up a copy of Leadership newspaper to know what that column is talking about. And finally, on our Ghana Must Go, why Tinubu can't be blamed for El Rufai not being president, says Bagudu. And right below the Ghana Must Go, it says, you are the new government spokesman with a question mark. Well, that's a question we all need an answer to. And of course, we're moving away from Leadership newspaper. We're turning on to THISDAY. The major headline here says, Presidency, Tinubu suspends cyber security levy to prevent overburdening Nigerians. KPMG idea ill-timed under current economic realities. Okonjo-Iweala urges federal government to streamline taxes. CSOs want court to stop implementation. And still on THISDAY, electricity tariff hike. Labour pickets NERC disco offices nationwide today. Oyedele Presidential Committee proposes exemption of 95% of informal sector from taxes. And we're looking at a picture of the Duchess of Sussex, Meghan Markle, the Duke, Prince Harry, the Governor of Lagos State, Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu, and of course the First Lady, Dr. Ibijoke Sanwo-Olu, during a courtesy visit by the Duke and Duchess at the Lagos House in Marina yesterday. And of course, now let's move on to the Punch newspaper. The major headline here is talking about electricity tariff hike. Labour demands reversal as protests begin today. NLC, TUC, others to picket NERC office discos in 36 states. Bank chiefs obtain 549 billion naira insider loans in 5 years. Stop electricity subsidy, IMF tells federal government. Terrorists kill 2, abduct 10 at Kaduna Football Viewing Center. Customs officer found dead in Abuja apartment. Years of bloodbath continue in Zamfara as bandits kill 49. We're still on the Punch newspaper. Of course, Harry, Meghan end Nigeria tour on a bright, sporty note. You can find that on page 6 and 64 of the Punch. National Assembly gets new tax report September. National State Assemblies to spend 724 billion naira in 2024. Rivers Assembly, Fubara pro-Wike lawmakers clash over relocation. And that's all on the front the Punch front headlines. Of course, let's move on finally now to The Nation. A major headline here says EFCC to join forces with UK prosecutors in Dezani's case. Anti-graft agency seeks access to ex-minister's assets. Others. And still on The Nation, cyber security levy while implementation can't take off. Commissioners battle chairman at Federal Character Commission. Nigeria complex but easy to govern, says Obasanjo. Pressure mounts on debtors to pay 450 billion naira federal government loans. And we're still looking at The Nation here finally. Kwara, Kwaibom, Yobe, Borno, others most backward in pension, or rather most backward in pension remittance. Well, that's all we're looking at on our front page headlines today. We'll take a break, and of course when we return, public affairs analyst Elias will be joining us for more insight into some of the stories on our front headlines. Please stay with us on Leadership TV.
Be part of our brand. Leadership for God and country. Be part of our brand. Leadership for God and country. Be part of our brand. Leadership for God and country. Be part of our brand. Leadership for God and country. Be part of our brand. Leadership for God and country. Be part of our brand. Leadership for God and country.
Thank you for staying with us on Leadership TV, and of course you're still watching Inside Nigeria with me, Cynthia Onwado. We have public affairs analyst Mr. Aliu Elias here with us this morning. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you for having me.
We'll be starting, of course, with Leadership newspaper talking about the Presidency, Army, 33 MDAs still owe electricity bills, and the fact that this particular situation is something that's of concern. And the AEDC, of course, Abuja Electricity Distribution Company, has threatened to cut down the electricity supply to these debtors. We're talking about the presidential villa, the Nigerian Army headquarters, the Niger State Governor, Abuja Liaison Office, the Ministry of State for Petroleum. In short, it's a lot. We're talking about 33 ministries, departments, and agencies, including a presidential villa, owing electricity bills. What this is something that's very, very funny.
It's quite appalling. You recall that maybe they have not come out of the hangover of NEPA. You know, NEPA used to be government owned, and government will now own NEPA.
And we have 10.01 billion naira budget for electricity.
It's quite a huge sum, and I can tell you, but I don't know what AEDC is waiting for. Should cut their lights, because for a private citizen like me and you, definitely they will not even wait. Perhaps we are even using prepaid. Do you have opportunity? It shows that they are using postpaid, right? You use then you pay. So
later.
if it's prepaid, it should have been a there is no way they would
we won't even have that grace.
Exactly, wouldn't have. So but I think that means they are also part of the problem of Nigeria, because that's what it simply means. Because if you as governments that even have that largesse, you cannot pay for electricity being used, and that means you are and the funny part is they will be in band A.
Yes.
These people are going to be in band
Definitely.
A, because village should be in band A, ministry should be in band A. They are in the highbrow area of, so simply they are robbing band B, C to E
to pay band A.
That's quite funny.
Okay, still talking about the leadership newspaper here. Let's take a look at Tinubu won't take sides in reverse crisis, says the presidency. The presidency is coming out to say the president will not take sides. So the Minister of FCT, Nyesom Wike, and the Governor of Rivers State, Siminalayi Fubara, has left to sort out their issues on their own. What do you think about the presidency coming out to give out this statement?
Well, I think they are only playing to the gallery, because if you ask me, I think when the issue started, they invited Siminalayi Fubara and the Wiki, and they give them conditions, and I can tell you to a considerable level, Fubara actually fulfills her own
we thought everything had
yes,
died
but
down.
beyond that, now, if you recall, the chief of staff to Fubara was appointed, I think, by Friday or so by federal government. That is Wiki camp. So it's as if Wiki camp is enjoying federal government, while Fubara is left to struggle on its own. So clearly, for me, they should go beyond rhetorics and make sure they practicalize what they are saying. Be in the middle, right? And for me, if Tinubu aims to become president in the last election by playing politics with Wike, he has become the president now. So he should have allowed Fubara to actually have room to perform as expected, because I can tell you it's affecting that state.
It's definitely affecting the governance, and the attention that's supposed to be on governance is being turned into different wars and dragging and all of that. Yesterday, I got to see a video of Nyesom Wike when he was still, the governor, talking about Godfatherism in the state will never work. So what do we see right now happening?
And that's the problem. If you recall, even if you ask me about Wike is known for this, right? What he said yesterday, that he regretted even supporting Fubara. This is how he said he regretted supporting Amechi, he regretted supporting Secondus, he regretted supporting Ayu, he regretted supporting virtually all of them. So why is he that is always regretting supporting people? And if he's a governor, I can assure you, he cannot take 1/3 of what he's actually doing.
It seems that they are emphasizing the fact that politics is a game of give and take. Because if you know that somebody will do the job and then you assist that person to get to that position to perform, why do you always need to have something back in return or maintain some kind of stronghold?
Right. Asking for something in return, honestly, is not too much to ask. But when you ask for too much, at what level will you discover you ask for too much? Now, you gave this, for you to become governor, and somebody say you must have a particular chief of staff. That simply means they want to hold you by the jugular. You went beyond that, give you Attorney General, give you Commissioner, is one handling the local government. So what else do you have to do? And that's why I always salute Governor Abdul of Kwara State. When he was under Bukola Saraki, he's the most loyal person I've ever seen. For good 8 years, never had issue with the governor. But I think at this point, we need to start reviewing that. I think it should even go into internal politics. The political party must have it written that if you help somebody to become governor, this is the limit you can do. Maybe you give him 1/3 or 2/3 of the appointee, because if not, they want to take over everything. And that's why you can see Fubara is finding it difficult to breathe. And I can assure you, in the long run, it will only expose the negative and the bad part of Wike to the whole Nigeria.
Let's watch and see how that goes on. We're still on leadership. Finally, let's take a look at the headline here. It says aero bombing, life returns to Tudumbiri. Remember, the 3rd of December 2023 was a very dark time for the Tudumbiri town in Kaduna State, where there was a aero bombing. It was said to be an aero bombing that claimed the lives of 100 people and caused a lot of injured civilians. The governor of Kaduna State, pledged support and all sorts of help to the people, building of roads, skill acquisition centers for them, and the 109 members of the National Assembly also pledged their December salary of that year to the people of Tudunbiri. But then you have, it's like when you offend somebody and you're doing everything possible to pacify them and what have you. But I have a problem with the fact that there are no consequences.
Right.
It's almost like, okay, it's a mistake, it's an error. What would happen to those 100 lives that were lost? These are people's fathers, mothers, brothers, and sisters.
Honestly,
and you think building road and exposition center, sending money into their accounts would solve?
Well, if you ask me, I think the first thing we should expect is that we need a report of what actually happened. That would have identified who is involved, why it happens, and what is the research before you bomb. So, because bombing a community is something that shouldn't have happened, and this is not the first time. This should be like second or third time that such thing will happen. So I think we should forestall it happening again. And how do we forestall it? To have a comprehensive report on this is what happened, because what they are saying that who dies, whoever died will not even get all this benefit they are bringing, and whoever have cut arm or leg will live with it for life. So you have to like have a particular, because as a trained military person, you must have that information before you can maybe command
the trigger.
So these are the things that we need to look at. So we must do that, because we continue to have area suffering insurgency, and such will continue. They will continue to target, to bomb and whatever. So we must forestall it, and to forestall it is that we must see a report of what actually happened. Definitely,
some sort of people being held accountable for their actions. So let's move on to THISDAY newspaper now. Here it says, Presidency, Tinubu suspends cyber security levy to prevent overburdening Nigerians. Okay, this particular story now, we got to hear from a source in the presidency that says the presidency didn't give the go-ahead for the cyber security levy. It was actually from the office of the National Security Advisor, and they didn't wait for a go-ahead from the presidency before they gave the directive to the CBN to apply that particular cybersecurity level. So I think there's a problem of what would I call it?
Right.
Command,
what actually happened is that it is not the responsibility of president to give go ahead for it, because we have a lot of regulatory agencies, and they are said to have their autonomy. So those agencies are just subject to National Assembly. So we call that National Assembly are the one that actually review this act. So when they review it, they take it to CBN. CBN only give banks directive to implement. So there is nothing that concerns the president, because if you continue to subject everything to president, you have serious problems. So ideally, you're supposed to, even what president is trying to do, that is trying to stop it, it's a contradiction to the processes. So when Nigerians are now shouting, this cybersecurity levy is too much, we don't want it should be responsible of National Assembly to actually review it, to say this. So, but for president to come in, if you are going to face another problem, if president continue to come in to intervene in what is law, because it's a law, it's not president, it's not executive, what have you, it's a law that brings about.
I feel in a way, because of the opera, the presidency has come out to kind of wash their hands and say, okay, we are not part of this.
Right.
It's the office of the National Security Advisor that's to blame for this.
No, it does not even concern security advisor. Security advisor is under the president, right? It is a CBN director. You also recall that National Assembly
CBN got that order from somebody.
They got it from the law that was pronounced in the National Assembly, directing them to implement it. They now give circular to the banks to implement. But there's a problem now. The National Assembly, House of Representatives, hold on a bit. The Senate said, no, we have approved it. That's where the contradiction comes in. Let's blame the National Assembly. Let's even take it to President. They are representing me and you. So
exactly.
When a tax-related issue or levy, they should have taken it close to people. That, okay, National Assembly is bringing this out. This is public hearing. Come and hear your view. They go to their own constituency as well, tell them that this is what is coming up. So it appears that National Assembly is not sensitive to the plight of the Nigeria. That is just what it's simply. So I don't think, even if president now decides to come in now, it's an aberration. Maybe perhaps he's just trying to respond to the needs of the masses.
But then again, few days after we got to hear about this cybersecurity level, we got to hear that Ghana has also implemented something of that nature. But when you look closely at this, can we say that the cybersecurity levy is not such a bad idea?
Right. If you ask me, there is need for cyber security. If Nigerian banks comes out and tell you what they are suffering from this cyber crime,
but people will say we already pay enough taxes.
You know what? That's where I'm going now. But you know, the communicators really made a problem. There's a problem from CBN. You recall that National Assembly came out that they did not say people should pay. They said, according to the law, SEC, Security Exchange, National Security Exchange Commission, insurance, banks, they mentioned 5 of them that are to pay. But CBN now came out and said these are the exempted people. So you're supposed to project people that will pay, not people that is exempted. So by the time Nigeria go to see it, it becomes something. But for me, we are paying for security already. Yeah. There is a budget that factor in security. Why you now say we should pay for cyber security? That means someday we will not be paying for infrastructure security. You start giving us different levy. So I think it's quite ideal to go tarry on that and reframe it, because we are paying already. Because there's education tax, there's different tax. Now you want to bring security tax. That means we are dividing all those tax from salary. I'm sure from your salary, I'm sure there's a tax that is being deducted already.
Definitely.
So how will you deduct that tax again? You are not telling me to pay. And if you look at even our banking, in banks, we are paying about 9 related charges,
for
SMS charges,
transfer, money,
exactly. Now money. This will make it 10. That's why we are actually complaining. That's why we charge about 10. And apart from that, last year there was about 60 trillion transaction online. So if you remove 5%, 0.5%, that means we are going to pay 300 billion. Is going to be removed to CBN and NSA. Now this year I can tell you, I read it on leadership today, that we have done already 230 trillion. So if you now remove 30%, 0.5% of that, that's going to be about 800 billion naira. So where is that money going? So why will you say every year and on every transaction of these big wigs you'll be removing such money? You should have been one off and build the infrastructure and continue. And another fear is that you are saying you remove that money from them. You're not saying after profit you remove that money. You remove it from beginning. Who now bear the?
It's supposed to be profit based.
Who will now bear the brunt? In the long run, it is me and you. There's going to, because a manufacturer who is charged will transfer the cost to the consumer, and that's why we consumers are saying no to that.
Definitely.
That levy rather.
Definitely. When we look at it from both sides, whether this levy would pay us or not pay us, but we need to be truthful to ourselves. When you talk about taxes, those taxes should be applied where there is profit, not where you are just making a simple transaction, or you bought something from the market or from a mall and then you see 0.05 of your money pulled out for no reason. We already been taxed, from our salaries.
Even
our paid workers already have a percentage of our salary.
Another question is that have we seen results for our tax that is being removed?
Yeah.
Do you have good road in your house?
Yeah.
Do you have good health care? What about education? Do you these are the things. Even power. We are now being saying that you are even robbing people now that saying that band A enjoy power, while band E will be struggling with 3 hours, while someone enjoy 20 hours. So I think there is a contradiction that government must actually work.
Definitely. Okay, let's move on to the punch now, talking about the labor demands reversal as protests begins today. NLC, TUC orders to picket NERC offices and discos in 36 states. I don't know if that protest is on the way, but it's supposed to begin today. Yes, and it's been said that these labor unions are going to shut down the AEDCs and distribution companies in 36 states and the FCT. Of course. So labor demanding reversal of the tariff hike. We know the Minister of Power, Adebayo Adilabu, has also threatened that if the hike is not implemented, we will be in total blackout for the next 3 months. I don't know if he's threatening us or if that is actually.
Well, I was actually at the NERC for 2 days stakeholder engagement, and they reveal why they're actually imposing those taxes. They call it MITO, multi-year tariff order. Why they are reviewing, why they are taxing Nigeria. And one of the problems that they enumerated was the problem of MDA not paying their money. That's one of the problems. Then another problem is that Nigeria is powering our electricity with two things: hydro, which is water, and gas to plants. So now 85% of our electricity is being powered by gas, and gas is expensive. So whose fault to make gas available to generate the people that generate power? Is it not federal government? Now the second one is hydro. Nigeria have water. We have a lot of water. Yes. Now why is it that it's only 15% that you are using water for? Why not everything? These are the things that we need to look at for. Now, labor, what is even picketing? Picketing simply means they will go to your doormat in the office and distract you that you will not do
your
anything.
job. Your
now, I want to commend labor for this, because it is not enough for you to ask for salary increments. No, you have to find a way that the little you have purchasing power. Because if you have 600,000 naira and you are using 500,000 naira for food consumption, you are using 20%, another 20,000 naira for transport, you are using another 30,000 naira for education, you are paying rent, what will remain for you? So it's better that you make sure that what you are not supposed to be paying for, you are not paying for. So they are not saying that the right that is not enough, they are just telling us to use it to pay for electricity and every other. So I think this is the right way to go. You must be policy driven. Make sure you force government to reduce those things that is costing you and reducing from your. So for me, I think it's a good way if they keep on showing this type of attitude. It shows that government also be conscious when they want to bring a lot of policy that will be negative or that will be exogenous to the Nigerians.
Let's see how far the NLC and TUC are able to protest against this particular hype, because it seems these days the government doesn't even listen.
I listened when I was coming to this studio. The Joe Ajero and others are all already at the NERC office picketing it already.
All right, we'll be giving you updates here on Leadership TV, of course, as the protest continues. Let's move on finally now to the Nation newspaper here. The major headline says EFCC to join forces with United Kingdom prosecutors in Dezani's case. Anti-graft agency seeks access to ex-ministers' assets and others. Well, this has been a long time.
Very long.
The EFCC prosecuting Dezani, of course, she fled Nigeria years ago to the United Kingdom, and now it seems Nigeria needs the assistance of the United Kingdom prosecutors to actually nail her and make her pay for her crime. So, what do you think about this?
When a particular case is going for like 15 years, it's becoming so worrisome, and I think EFCC should decipher another means of tackling all these issues. This person actually wrote, and another problem that I began to have is that this woman actually worked under a president. Yeah. Right. So, and virtually she will say most things she do is with the knowledge of the president. So also people that work under Buhari, see Adesirika has been arrested. He will say he got presidential clearance. So I think it's a good one that they are trying to collaborate with the UK. But I think plea bargaining, I was thinking she has done plea bargaining.
I know that a lot have been collected from
exactly.
Her.
So no, it's better they prosecute her. If she doesn't have any skeleton in her cupboard too, it's good for her. But Nigeria, sometimes it appears to be witch hunting. It appears to be, it is one that concerns you that you actually go for, because we have a lot of cases that have been there, but anyone the government want to really tap, or EFCC rather, they will open it.
You just said you've hit the nail on the head now, because it seems EFCC is putting a lot more effort when it comes to this woman and trying to join forces with the UK prosecutors. But within Nigeria right here, we see EFCC would, Rochas Okorocha, chase them, break down their houses. The former governor of Anambra State, I'm trying to remember his name right now. They chase them and collect billions and billions. And now they've started with Adesirika, but we don't really see any drive for them to prosecute this public office holders that stole money.
I think we
but
should
there seems to be a lot more energy when it comes
I
to
think
this,
Nigerian government should do more on process, because if your process doesn't allow people to really steal, it's better, because we need to be proactive, not reactive. Look at the case of humanitarian affair. You give room that people can share money with hand. What are you saying in a nutshell? It simply means that you can steal the money, because if the money does not pass through the normal process, you cannot be accounted for. So, like, for me, that's why better educate. I always see as someone who comes to suffer other people's trouble, because this has been going on in the ministry. It's not something. So for Desiani, I think she must have also been dusting a lawyer to really come for her. But I think we need to have good harmonious relationship with all this international country. You know why? Most of them even assist these people that stole our money. They will give them opportunity. Most of them will steal money and go and stay in Dubai, go and stay in UK,
those properties
go to Switzerland, and it's to their own benefit. And it's to their own benefit, because they collect taxes on these people's property there. In these people spend those humongous money they have stolen from Nigeria there. This is the problem, and that's why we always tell all these people that are stealing too, why not invest in Nigeria? Invest this money in Nigeria. Don't always take it abroad. So I think if they tame them from there, but the thing is, it is when it is not benefiting the UK or any other country that they will hand over the person to. If there's something they are also saying that benefit them, they may not actually.
But then what about punishment and consequences? Apart from Oju Zokalu, Joshua Dawie, and a few others that we've seen being given jail term for their crimes, we get to see a lot of rat race. You collect this today, 1 billion naira, 2 billion naira, jewelries, and that is where it ends. What about jail term for these public office holders? Will Nigeria ever get to that position where when you think of stealing and then you think of being sentenced to 10, 15 years in jail, you'd hold back on that urge to steal?
Well, the thing is this, let's just bring it down a bit. Let's look at Bobrisky. Okay, you find him wanting, and within a space of how many, he's
the law was quite quick when it came to Bobrisky.
Exactly, yes. But we see Chief Priest. We saw what is actually happening. So it simply means it appeared to be selective in some area. The law seems to be partial. I'm telling you, because now somebody who stole money, with evidence, they will keep postponing, keep shifting it. So it simply means one law for this, the other law for that. So I think Nigeria must come up, and it must start from the president. When the president is sincere and want to, really deal with corruption, it helps. Look at President Muhammadu Buhari. Up to now, I can still say he's not corrupt. But what about people around him?
The people around him.
That's the thing. So it's not enough for you to say, yes, I am not corrupt, and somebody under your nose. Actually, so you must do it holistically
from the top.
Exactly, which it must happen even down to local government. Because you look at the governors now, also look at the power they actually have. So let our law be proactive, not reactive. Don't even allow them to steal that money with processes that you will now keep following them. It even costs a lot. They tell you how much they have expended to actually arrest Desiani. You'll be marveled. And that's where we don't want. Don't use our money, to actually pursue such things that have no end.
Hopefully Nigeria will get to a point where we are blessed with leaders that have integrity and want to do the right thing. This is where we draw the curtain on Inside Nigeria today. Thank you so much to our public affairs analyst Aliyu Elias for joining us today on the program. I still remain Cynthia Onwado. We'll be back tomorrow on Leadership TV with more Inside Nigeria School. Please stay with us.
Thank you for watching.
Thank you, sir.
Please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.